New movies that you've never heard of. Jim Cameron and John Carpenter are BFFs, and Francis Ford Coppola hasn't seen those reviews for Megalopolis.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call!
Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim left to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Tyler.
And we have a great show for you today. Welcome everyone on YouTube Live, otherwise, and of course, the OG classmates living in podcast land.
Yes. Why haven't the audio listeners made it to the YouTube?
I don't know. I don't know what the conversion or the translation has been for the number. I haven't seen the numbers.
I know Steven listens on the YouTube.
I think it's just more of a reason of like they just want to hear our noise.
Yeah,
they want to hear our noise, like
just
our
noise.
Voices.
Mm-hmm.
The sight of us sickens them.
Yeah.
I listened and watched your guys' episodes last week.
Oh, yeah.
When I was absent.
Yes.
Trying to survive in the Bay Area.
You
fighting off the homeless.
I was going to say, like, you're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
The weather was very nice, though, gotta say.
Yeah.
Very nice. It was like 90 something up here. It was like cool 70 down there.
They say the hottest winter you'll ever experience is in San Francisco.
We're already going into the weather.
And the coldest summer.
But yeah, so I listened / watched the episodes to get our numbers up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have some things I want to bring up.
You have grievances?
From that, maybe a little bit of grievances.
Yeah.
But first things first.
Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back.
He's back! He's back!
Oh, this bit again.
Yep.
I'm back.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
This keeps going.
C105.
And we're back!
Oh my God. We're back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Longest drop in history.
Yeah. Tyler gets his Letterboxd jingle,
Yeah, that's true.
and I get mine that I made for myself.
That's true. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
And it doesn't say my name specifically, but it's only for me.
It's just the Joseph's back one, yeah.
So yeah, I've returned. Jack Fitzpatrick.
How do you do? Letter grade.
For his performance or the episode?
Both.
Both? His performance. Okay. Well, I don't want to be critical.
Oh my God.
Here it comes. Keep in mind, he's upside down when he's recording.
Oh yeah.
He's hanging upside down by gravities.
Yeah.
Gravity's
He's
got
like
a string.
How come he hasn't fallen off the face of the earth?
He's like a bat in a cave.
Yeah.
It was good. Like a grade. I mean, I guess
It was good.
like an
A or A minus?
A.
Or A plus?
A.
A? Okay, cool.
He got good insight.
Is it an A?
Good insight. A little short with the some of the like reviews or news stories. Mm-hmm. Very brief. Very very brief.
Well,
He's trying to keep it tight.
We're famously long-winded, and I know that when Javi comes on, he keeps his stories tight.
Yeah.
Keeps them right to it.
I think in the grade for the movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when you guys were doing the grades, he just kind of just like said the grade.
It's a C.
It's a C, and then
You hear that, Jack? Next time, we want production.
Pontificate, boy.
Yeah,
I think Jack did a fine job.
Yeah.
And it was Mother's Day over there, so he had the weight of his mom glaring at him from the other room.
but
What are you doing on my
actually,
day?
so I said A.
Okay, so what?
So I said A. I'm going to bring it down to an A minus for one specific reason.
Oh, okay. Why?
He stream picked or anti-stream picked a very specific movie, and I wore a shirt today. If you're watching, Jack, and anybody else who's watching,
Yeah.
it
I was
is
stoked by that.
a Wayne's World shirt and has the slogan Wayne's World, party time, excellent.
I like how they put 1992 as if that's the title of the movie.
If he's watching right now, he's seething.
And if you're not watching, you're listening. But if you are watching, I'll turn around. You're not gonna be able to hear me very well.
Oh, look at this! It's got the
Got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Wayne's
Yeah.
World.
that's when
It's a good illustration.
It's after when he's like trying to console the audience,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Okay," and then
is it that scene or is it when she says she agrees to go on a date with him and he goes zang?
it could be that too.
Yeah, which means cool. I think.
And he didn't like Wayne's World. He did not.
I know.
He didn't. His biggest gripe was the opening of the head banging to
The Zoomers.
Bohemian
The
Rhapsody.
Zoomers don't like Wayne's World. Apparently,
Is he a Zoomer?
I don't know. I think so. He's 10 years younger than me.
Is he?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 38. He's 28. Well, I'll be 38 in like 3 weeks.
He's a millennial.
He's a millennial? Okay.
Yeah,
Barely.
He's on the border.
An honorary. I'm on the border of millennial, so I guess it's like a 12-year span.
yeah.
What I would say is that if he just watched it for the first time this time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we watched it when we were a lot younger, so I think we have that little leg up on that movie.
We got a little bit of a nostalgic lens on it.
Yeah, and I rewatched it like a month ago.
Probably seen it 15 times.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's like it's a movie that like if I really don't have anything else to watch or I want to put something in the background, it's one of those movies that I'll just throw on
Yeah.
to enjoy while I'm maybe doing something else. But
Another great movie that pairs along with Wayne's World, Airheads. Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler.
yeah.
That's a good one.
So I gotta say, Jack.
Are you mental?
Live in the now.
Ah, come on, Jack. Embrace life. Enjoy Wayne's World.
Yeah. So that was
Say something though.
What?
The idea of like Bohemian Rhapsody being like a headbanging hair metal sort of thing. All hair metal is kind of goofy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like when you're like you're headbanging
think
to
about-
that compared to like the shit that's considered hard now, like Cannibal Corpse or something.
Yeah, or cattle decapitation, pig destroyer.
I don't think
Even something lighter, which was right up Jack's alley, like Bring Me the Horizon, is still way hard compared to that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be Queen? What would be a modern day Queen essentially?
Maroon 5.
Maroon 5.
I don't agree with that assessment. I think it would be a Jelly Roll.
No, fuck off.
Country singer.
He's not a country singer.
Adam Levine is the modern day Freddie Mercury. It's been said many times, including the AIDS. It all tracks. Allegedly.
But it was tough at the time when it was released in the 80s, 70s.
It was more like exciting rather than hard, you know?
But when it does get into the rock part of that song, it's got banging, I would say.
Yeah, I dig it. I mean, I'm a huge Queen fan, you know? Also Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Banging.
So I love Wayne's World, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Art is subjective, you know?
Another thing I wanted to bring up, I was a little confused.
There's a pre-gab.
I was a little confused, Tyler. You said something
What did I say?
in the pre-gab.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't. Well, maybe it was during the movie review. I can't remember. But you were talking about what you were eating, and you said you had a bowl of eggs.
Correct?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Eggs, huh?
Tyler's off the vegan train.
Yeah. No, we're going to bring this on air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came over to my house this morning. He had my leftover Spam that I made for breakfast.
Oh,
That's
interesting. When did that happen?
I don't know. I can't give you a hard date.
Was this a recent thing?
Relatively, yeah.
Why the?
What? I think this is a conversation for off air and not for a comedy movie review.
Spat.
No, it wasn't. I mean, why are you putting me on the
just
spot?
curious. I'm just curious. I wanted to clarify. Clarification.
Yes, it was, yes.
Because you guys are friends and he wants to know about what's happening in your life.
Well, yeah, no.
You're shrouded in mystery.
You're like, I hate animals now.
Yeah, well,
hate
yeah.
animals.
Me and animals, like we have
beef.
We have beef. Yeah,
I would be. Yeah,
Pun
I would.
intended.
No. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, Joseph, why did you have to bring this up?
Because it perplexed me.
Bruce,
Okay, well-
Bruce says that My Chemical Romance is modern day Queen.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
that's a
agree.
good- that's a good one.
I agree with that completely.
Okay.
I'm not going to have this conversation on air right now because it does not pertain to the subject matter
Hey,
of
he's running the
show.
show. We're at his mercy. It's his episode.
If you want to, if you want the short answer is because I have free agency over myself, and I've discovered that recently, and
You discovered that you're your own person.
I think
Correct.
Yes, I'm proud of you, Tyler, for that. Not
Interesting.
for the eating of the animals. Not that I have
not
judgment
proud-
either way.
you're not
but
proud of
I'm not proud of you for that. I'm not ashamed of you for that. But the fact that you've embraced your free agency and you're like. You're not giving in to the peer pressure of Joseph standing over you, scowling at you.
yeah, well, he already
The
is.
plant-based stuff's right there.
Yeah, that's not to say that I'm rejecting plant-based stuff. I still eat plant-based stuff all the time.
It's just not a hardline stance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, is it interesting?
I
Is it interesting?
I try not to eat fish mainly because I like fish.
Why?
But,
They don't have any feelings, like Kurt Cobain said, and there's something in the way.
According to the genius fish scientist of our time,
Kurt Cobain. That's right. Oh, great. Wonderful. We're that show now.
That's what I think about your transition back. And not that you ever really were.
Sorry. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. He's been a good 3 years as a vegan.
Yeah,
correct.
but it's not just about what you eat.
I'm pretty sure it is.
No, it's not.
yeah, I know. It's a philosophical stance. And you know what?
I would like to explore this more, maybe after the Patreon.
Patreon,
We can get into this.
Yeah, maybe we can have a debate.
Because if I was going to
to
go into a discussion about veganism, I'd say it's purely based off of what you eat because it is defined by what you eat.
Oh my God.
but
I don't
again,
want to get into this
educate me-
discussion.
Educate me later.
It would be incorrect. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get into
what
some
the
Gavin
fuck?
chatter.
Okay, cool.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for Gavin chatter.
Gavin chatter, movie news, movie things to talk about, recent things happening in the world, in the movie industry. Pete, what do you have to say?
You lost your pep in your step right now.
No, he's right. He's just worked up. I can see it. He's vibrating. He's vibrating.
He's
he wants
seething.
to let it out. Before I get into all that, Bruce in the chat says the only difference is you can't hear the plants screaming. So that and he calls that Petatreon. We're gonna have some PETA talk in there.
Oh, I get it.
Not Pete like me. Petatreon. Okay, so again, before I get into my actual story, I also have a special T-shirt I'm wearing. This is my Bigfoot for President T-shirt, which is featured in the movie that just came out recently, Last Stop in Yuma County, directed by Francis Gallupi and starring Jim Cummings. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which character was that?
He's the grimy criminal, not Richard Brake.
Oh, the dumb one?
The dumb one, yeah.
Yeah.
The one with a weird, dumb, greasy bowl cut.
Yeah. It's like a crop top in that.
Yeah, I was like, should I get it in a small? This is a large. He wears it about a small, and he wears no undies. But yeah, anyways, on to my story. This is basically, I've heard of there's a lot of movies that are coming out that are interesting, so like kind of questionable sequels, perhaps, interesting reboots, and then other movies that are just completely out of left field. So I'm going to go through a couple of them right now. First one is not officially released, but there was a lot of discussion, and Amazon has commented on the fact that they are making a sequel to the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse movie. So it's going to be coming out, and who knows which MMA character will be the villain this time.
They're making a sequel?
Not only did they remake the old one, they're adding more.
Yep. Well, the original Roadhouse had a sequel too.
Did it really?
Yeah, it did.
It was called Roadhouse 2.
It didn't have Patrick Swayze, did it?
Yeah, no, Swayze
No.
wasn't in it. No,
he wasn't.
Kind of like Grease 2.
Yeah.
yeah.
Grease 2. Whoa, fuck. You know what? That movie's growing on me. The songs are so bad they've come around and they're good.
Oh, okay.
Let's Bowl Tonight. Give me a break. It's the worst. It's the worst. It is impressive what they do in the bowling alley, but Jesus Christ. So Jake Gyllenhaal is going to return as Dalton, who actually turns out that's his last name. In the credits on IMDb, it actually gives his name. Let's see if I can find it here. Roadhouse, IMDb. The original Roadhouse, it credits him as James Dalton. James Dalton. Old Jimmy D.
Jimmy D.
Yeah. Jimmy Dean. So Gyllenhaal is coming back for that. No other information about that yet. This is literally just announced just recently. And then Sydney Sweeney is the hot girl right now in Hollywood, literally and figuratively. And she may be pairing up with Edgar Wright to reboot Barbarella.
Oh, yeah. I heard about this.
Barbarella.
Yeah. It's a classic
comic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like there's a movie as well. And it's kind of like a adventurous sort of like caveman-esque.
Like Conan?
Yeah, kind of Conan, but a female. Very buxom, large-breasted, adventurer like Xena warrior princess, but set in sort of a medieval, chaotic sort of, caveman time sort of thing.
I wish they would do a Vampirella remake.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Have you ever seen, is it Vampirella? Is that
It's
a cartoon?
It's it's based on an old like pulpy comic series by Frank Frazetta, I think it's. I'm probably butchering his last name, but like he like does like a lot of like the old timey like 70s fantasy art, and he penned the comics of Vampirella, but they made a movie in the 90s. And it was so terrible.
Oh, really?
It was so terrible. I have it on DVD, actually.
I don't know anything about the Barbarella movie. I'm pretty sure there's a movie, but the comic is back from 1968. So again, that's only rumored so far, but that would be interesting. I feel like she visually looks like what you would want for that sort of character. And I'm pretty sure that movie and those types of movies are kind of pulpy, low budget, kind of crappy, Roger and Corbin style, no disrespect, rest in peace type movies. But maybe her acting style will work with that because there's not much there.
Maybe so.
Okay, next one up. We have Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel to the Mortal Kombat movie that was released in, I want to say 2021.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that because the first one was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Joseph, you like the first one?
I mean, well enough. Yeah.
Do you have any connection to Mortal Kombat?
I played the games when I was younger.
You have a fond memory of them, at least?
I guess so.
Yeah, gotcha.
I was never I was never big on the games.
That's an answer. I loved Mortal Kombat.
I like the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the original
classic
one was good.
With the Goro's design and like his makeup.
Yeah, he's like an animatronic.
He's like an animatronic
clay face.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Mortal Kombat enough. Like, it's interesting how they're trying to try to make a story out of Mortal Kombat, even with the games.
Yeah, they turn into like a story base with the outworlds, and you can visit different dimensions and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a galactic battle, and every race comes and battles it out.
I mean, that is the story of Mortal Kombat.
Well, yeah, that's
even
what
the first game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so I think that's that's a fun concept.
Are any of them aliens? Or are they just
different dimensions?
Yeah, different dimensions. Yeah, dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess you could say it's aliens.
What's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference?
What qualifies an alien?
A non-humanoid creature from another dimension is it different than a non-humanoid creature from another planet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bruce has clarification. He says that Jane Fonda played in the Barbarella movie. It was a futuristic, campy sex fantasy movie, and Duran Duran was a character in it.
The band?
Yeah.
The whole band was a character?
Yeah. It's like New York City was a character, right, Jack?
Well, yeah, one of my least favorite criticisms is when a band is a character.
I know. It's really like Duran Duran was a character within the movie.
Yeah. It's a love letter to Duran Duran.
So this movie is going to be directed by Simon McQuoid, who also did the first one and nothing else.
The first what?
The first Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
First Mortal
of the same series. Carl Urban is returning Carl Urban is coming in as Johnny Cage, Jessica McNamee as Sonya Blade. A lot of the same characters are in it, but there's a lot of new ones. They have Jade, Kano, Josh Lawson is coming back as Kano. He was the best part in that.
Yeah.
McCad Brooks as Jax, Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, Katana, Kung Lao, King Gerard, Sindel, and Baraka. Yeah, Sonya Blade, Lord Raiden, Quan Chi. Quan Chi.
In the games of Mortal Kombat, Baraka's like the
freak.
There's like a bunch of them. It's like they're like the test dummies in the games.
Oh, really?
In the newer games.
I didn't know that.
Interesting. Okay, next one. This is kind of out of nowhere. When Yorgos Lanthimos released Poor Things, he immediately announced that he was making Kinds of Sadness, also starring
Kindness.
Kinds of what is it?
Kinds of Kindness.
Kinds of Kindness. That's what it's called.
Yep.
Okay, my bad. Kinds of Kindness. Sads of Sadness, and that's also starring Emma Stone and Willem Dafoe. When they released, I think they had a screening of that at Cannes, or maybe it wasn't the screening of that. They were just at Cannes, and Yorgos announced he's making another movie with Emma Stone called Begonia. And this is starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It's a comedy sci-fi, and here's the plot synopsis. A young man captures and interrogates a businessman that he believes is an alien invader. The captor, his girlfriend, the businessman, and a private detective engage in a tense psychological battle. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, that does sound interesting.
Yorgos not writing this one.
Oh.
Jun Hwan Jang and Will Tracy are writing that.
So he's just directing it.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Okay, so that's interesting. And Begonia, look out for that one. Next one, very fun synopsis. A recently separated couple take their shared dog on a holiday trip to cheer him up, but end up reconnecting romantically. Basically, it stars...
with the dog?
It stars Zooey Deschanel, Charlie Cox, and Patricia Heaton. And
Daredevil.
They break up, and their dog is depressed. So they go get together on a vacation. They bring the dog along to make the dog happy again, and they rekindle their relationship.
So it's like before sunset.
But with the dog. But they care more about the dog than they do about the kids.
Before midnight, I guess.
Yeah,
Closer.
exactly. Bruce says the band Duran Duran is named after the character.
Oh. So the band's not in
So it's not
the movie. It's just there's a character.
You know what? It's 1968. He says no. That's not when the movie came out. That's when the comic came out. Yeah, I don't know anything about Barbarella. Whoever's listening, this is very evident. Please write in.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it either.
So it's called Merv. Goofy.
I think that's the name of the dog.
Probably. Yeah, goofy premise for a rom-com. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah.
There's also Joey Slotnick's in this. I like him. He's an interesting character actor. Okay, next up. This is starring Melina Polly Weissman, Anthony Turpo, which I don't know those people, but also starring Lou Ferrigno.
Oh.
He's still alive?
Playing the titular The Hermit. The synopsis says, dragged on a vacation to the woods, two self-absorbed teens fight for their life against an unstoppable, cannibalistic pig farmer.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Lou Ferrigno.
I didn't know that he was in it, but I did hear about this movie.
And he looks like a freaking goon. Look at him.
Oh, there's pictures?
That's Lou Ferrigno. The
Hulk. Looks like Hagrid.
The Hulk.
Yeah, he does look like Hagrid. Except
You're a cannibal, Harry.
Unless he... I'm a cannibal, Harry. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know more information about that, but that should be kind of a fun, crappy comedy or crappy horror, or possibly a very disturbing horror.
It kind of reminds me of the movie Pig.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like...
hermit raising pigs.
Yeah.
But this one is just one pig. In Pig, it's just one pig.
Well, I think it's just like the like, I think... I know like Pig is like a kind of controversial, like it definitely is a controversial sort of, or I shouldn't say controversial, a divisive sort of in the film communities.
Why is that?
Because some people really don't like it, and then other people like, it's kind of like a black and white sort of thing. It's like you either like it or you don't. And I
thought it was okay.
Yeah, I don't really see a whole lot of people giving it any hate. Either say it's good or great.
Oh, that's not what I saw.
Why is that? Because you don't like it?
No, I love it.
Oh, you love it.
I thought it was incredible.
It's got 3.8 on Letterboxd, overwhelmingly 4 stars. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, moving on. Next one, sequel to what I think already had a sequel, the Silent Hill franchise. This is called Return to Silent Hill. When a mysterious letter calls him back to Silent Hill in search of his lost love, James finds a once recognizable town and encounters terrifying figures, both familiar and new, and begins to question his own sanity. This is written and directed by Christoph Gans, who did Brotherhood of the Wolf, the original Silent Hill, and the Beauty and the Beast reboot. Yeah, so interesting. I like Silent Hill. I'll watch that.
I can't say it.
The movie?
I played the game.
Old movie?
Both. I played the game, but I haven't seen the movie.
You haven't seen the old movie? Really?
It's pretty good.
Pretty spooky.
Yeah, there's some good creepy stuff in there.
Some brutal skin ripping in it.
There's a twist off death.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have seen the gif of the twist off death. That was
twist off.
Yeah, that was God. That is a cringe inducing scene.
But also the end of the movie, it's like one of the only movies where Sean Bean doesn't die.
Ooh, spoiler alert. Spoiler for the non-death. Okay, and then payoff on a movie we had rumored a long time ago. We talked about it on the show that Happy Gilmore may be getting a sequel. It's been officially announced. It is happening. It's coming. It's going to be written by and starring Adam Sandler. But I wouldn't be surprised if also the original writer of Happy Gilmore also came in, because he retweeted it on, I can't remember the guy's name. Let me see if I can find it here.
Might be a consultant.
They still call it retweet. No, it's like repost.
They call it repost or requote.
Not re-X.
I was going to say re-X.
I'm not saying that. Tim Hurley was the original writer along with Adam Sandler, and he's the one that retweeted it. And he said, I guess I know I can stop pretending, or I can stop lying to my parents, is what he said. Because there's been rumors, and he's like, no, Mom, it's not coming, because it hasn't been announced yet.
You better not be writing that sequel for Happy Gilmore.
You better not be making money.
I think Drew Carey will be in this one.
Oh, that would be so fucking good. Drew Carey.
Yeah. I mean, like, can you speculate on like how you could write a sequel to a movie like that? Like, I don't even.
Yeah, Adam Sandler is now.
He's still in retirement.
Yeah, he stopped golfing, and now but you can golf until you're a fucking old man.
Yeah.
But
look at Chubbs.
Yeah, exactly. Except for he had one hand.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler loses a hand, and he has to.
He becomes Chubbs.
Exactly. He's a star.
It's Chubbs, right? Or Tubbs.
It's Chubbs.
No,
It's Chubbs.
It's Chubbs.
I think
Either name is unfortunate.
Why?
I don't know. Just Chubb.
I knew a guy, and we called him Tubbs, but his last name was Tabearos. So we just shortened it Tubbs. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Okay,
very
Tubbs.
successful now.
Yeah, he's doing good. He cleaned Air Force One.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one I wanted to bring up is Night Bitch. Just a fun name to say.
Night Bitch.
Night Bitch. Yeah. 2024 release. It's coming out this year. I don't know exactly when, but it's soon, within the next few months. This is written and directed by Marielle Heller and also written by Rachel Yoder. And Marielle Heller directed Diary of a Teenage Girl, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and A Walk Amongst the Tombstones. This is starring Amy Adams, Scoot McNairy, Mary Holland, Jessica Harper. Scoot McNairy, fun name. And this says, a woman pauses her career to be a stay-at-home mom, but soon her domesticity. What is this word? I've never read this word. Domesticity. It's DOMES, like domestic, and then ITY at the end.
Domesticity.
Okay.
Domesticity, New York.
It takes a surreal turn. Basically, she thinks she's turning into a dog. That's the plot.
2 movies with interesting dog premises.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the poster for it makes it look like she's losing her mind.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm all for it. Amy Adams is a great actress.
Sure.
Well, who's directing this?
That one person that directed A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
I just closed the tab, so I don't know their name.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah.
The Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, the Mr. Rogers.
Interesting.
The same. So that's all I have to say. That's all I got.
All right, Tyler, what do you have to bring?
Well, I came across this story while I was looking for news stories for the show from slashfilm.com. So I thought this was really interesting. James Cameron almost played an important part in John Carpenter's The Thing. And so James Cameron, I had no idea that he had such an affinity for John Carpenter, but he really looked up to him. Like after he made Halloween, he was really impressed that he made it for on such a low budget. And James Cameron back in the 70s,
James Cameron's like, I could never do that. All my movies have huge budgets.
Well, no, he was a special effects artist back in the 70s and early 80s. He was what is it called? Like a matte
painter?
Matte painter, yeah. He was a matte painter.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's somewhat of an artist because in Titanic, those are his hands drawing Kate Winslet's bare breasts.
Yeah.
James Cameron?
Yeah. That's when they show the hands drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him.
Just stay right there for a second.
Yeah. He's like, I messed up. I got to start over.
Oh, damn it.
Hold on. I got to readjust
I gave you 3 nipples on accident.
Creep.
Well, what's interesting too, so he worked for New World Pictures, which was kind of the B movie, movie studio. And he also worked on Escape from New York as a matte painter as well. I thought that was a very interesting fact. The Cameron and Carpenter's paths almost crossed again on Carpenter's 1982 horror film The Thing. And for the 40th anniversary of The Thing in 2022, writer Josh Wise assembled an oral history published on Sci-Fi. Had things gone another way, Cameron would have designed the movie's title card. The title card probably wouldn't have looked much different in this counterfactual, though, since Cameron would have made it to Carpenter's specifications. So essentially, he idolized John Carpenter. He thought he was a brilliant filmmaker, and he took a lot of inspiration from him as well. Just from because James Cameron's films tend to have a big budget, but I think he's very efficient with his filmmaking. And John Carpenter, he kind of very give an F about stuff. So he just does what he does.
Yeah.
While James Cameron kind of he's very on hands on deck.
What and this was for The Thing, you said, right?
Yeah, this was for The Thing. So this is when James Cameron wasn't in the directing role at this time. He was just a special effects artist and a matte a matte painter. So
that was 78 was the thing.
No, 82. 82 was the thing, yeah.
What am I tripping here?
But
yeah, you're right, 82. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm trying to figure out where Cameron was in his body of work at that time.
Well, he did that Piranha movie.
Oh, yeah.
That Piranha 2, The Spawning was that same year, 82.
Oh,
So
I
he
thought
did-
it was 79 for some reason.
78 is his Xenogenesis, a short that he wrote.
Okay.
And it looks like... Okay, those are his writing credits. Let's look at his directing credits. Also, he also directed that. So it would have been 2 years later till he did the Terminator. So he was probably about to start production on Terminator.
Right. He's probably like writing the story and stuff.
Kind of interesting.
So, but the title for the thing, this is a really interesting fact about how the title became to be like for the thing, which I think is very iconic. It was designed by Peter Caron of VCE Films.
Mm-hmm.
He's quoted on saying, "I put the title on the back of the fish." So for context, he used a fish tank and a 1,000 watt light bulb and a black garbage bag.
That's cool.
He goes on to saying, "I put the title on the back of the fish tank using animation black ink in the cell to make the title. When I'd start the camera, I'd run behind and touch the garbage bag plastic. No, that's the plastic garbage bag with a couple of matches. The matches would make a hole. They would burn and open and reveal the light, which then came through the title, making the rays in the fish tank." And I thought that's such an interesting fact, because when I think about like early John Carpenter movies, it's so DIY in a sense.
It's a great title sequence, and I'm watching it right now, and it's like I feel like without CG, it feels like it would be impossible.
It does, yeah.
It did a fucking fantastic job with it, and it almost looks better done that way.
And so I
never even noticed the flames on the edge. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I really like the idea of James Cameron like pulling a lot of just having like a lot of like appreciation for John Carpenter, because I feel like that influenced him to go on and like make his own.
I don't see any correlation though between what Carpenter's making and Cameron's making. I feel like they're diametrically opposed filmmakers.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I tend to disagree with you on that, because like when you look at that,
take the thing out of it. Take the thing out of it.
Okay, take the thing out of it. Look at the first Terminator. Mm-hmm. It's very practical effects.
Okay, and you know what? You're right. I think the Terminator feels like it could have had some Cameron influence. Some Carpenter influence.
Yeah, I mean, like I should say inspired. Yeah. Not like just like pulling from him, but like
I never said that. I never said he's taking from him.
He's ripping him off.
I know. What a Jim Cameron, famous
phony,
famous plagiarist. Jim Cameron is what Tyler's saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Not original. Look at Avatar.
I mean, look at the
you mean Pocahontas?
Ferngully, Pocahontas.
Look at the Titanic. Come on.
I know.
But I thought that was interesting, because I never knew anything about the relationship between
it's cool.
Carpenter and Cameron.
Two of your favorite directors.
I don't know if Cameron is my favorite director, but Carpenter is definitely up there.
He did Aliens, right?
Cameron did Aliens. Yeah, he did that. But yeah, I think I never knew So one point is I never knew that he was a matte artist. Like, that's really awesome. So okay.
Enough talk.
Fine, that's it. I could wax on and on about this story, but
we repeat the same thing 5 times.
I wasn't repeating anything. Okay. That's it.
You never should have come here.
That's it.
Are you mental?
All right.
I want Tyler to read the comment that he made to you about how interesting is actually a valid.
You want me to read that?
I want you to read it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you read? I'll text it to you because I screenshot it. Yeah, Joseph. Joseph, set us up.
There's a lot of context behind this, because Jack, right? He's been posing a lot of questions and posting a lot of things in the Cinemax Facebook group that have garnered a lot of traction. Most recently, he did what is the most annoying critics terms that people use that grind your gears, basically.
Yeah.
And then I put the word interesting because, one, I use that word a lot, but
we're doing this. Okay.
But I feel that it is not really a very, it's not descriptive at all. It doesn't mean anything in like, it's very vague, and it's just like anything can interest you, but to describe how it made you feel or what you think about it is different. If you can't go beyond that, you can say it's interesting because, as opposed to just saying that was interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a very empty word,
yes,
in my opinion. So,
well, I don't agree with that. So if
don't,
you want,
don't pontificate. Just read your comment. I want to read your comment word for word because I'm still trying to figure out what you mean by this.
It's an emotional word. You say interesting and it's a verb in your head. You find it interesting and express it. I don't think it's bad. I wouldn't call it a non-word, more so an expressive word. Your mind finds it interesting, and so you express it verbally. I mean, like, I don't know how much more I can explain.
Interesting. Would you say interesting is a verb?
That's the part that confused me the most. I'm like, is it a verb? Is it an action word?
No, it's not.
It is in the sense that if you're describing it.
He interested into the room.
It is not a verb. It is an adjective.
I said a verb in your mind.
I'm going to interest.
Like, because,
a verb is a type of word that means an action. Like, I'm doing something.
I'm jumping.
Okay, so a thought. So a thought.
I'm interesting.
So a thought is so a thought's not a thought's not an action.
It's an adjective.
Thinking.
So thinking is not an action. Like
thinking is
like when you
thinking is an action.
Okay, so when you think something is interesting,
yeah, but the thinking of it, if something that's interesting is the action, not the interesting part.
But and I see what you're saying. You're like, oh, it affected me somehow, right? It made me think about something. But what about it made you think interesting?
Well, then you go on to say like why it interests you.
So
exactly.
So if you were to cut out the interesting part, and we all like, if I'm going to say this movie moved me emotionally, it affected me in a way that made me think about my childhood and my relationship with my parents. You already know that I think it's interesting. Like, I don't have to say it.
Okay. Well, I mean, like,
it's interesting, and on top of that, I like it, and furthermore, it's good, and on top of that, I approve of it.
Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes you don't even have to do that. You could just say, like, for anything, like this Uncrustable right here. I think it's interesting.
And,
why?
But
why do I have to give it? Why do I?
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Why do I have to give an explanation? It's
because we don't know if you think it's good or bad.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Yes, why does it matter?
Because
why?
You're literally wasting oxygen and everyone's time listening to you by saying something that means literally nothing.
The bountiful of oxygen that we have in this room.
We have finite time though, and so do our listeners. And it's not like I'm not attacking you. Joseph's saying this about his own criticism, and it's like the idea is try to get better. Try to improve on yourself. And if you can self-edit and remove interesting from your vernacular, and you just say like, or vocabulary, and say, you know what, that really doesn't mean anything. That Uncrustable is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it is.
It doesn't mean anything. That's a non-answer.
That's not a non-answer.
If you can't extrapolate as to why, then it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if you as yourself shouldn't. You don't owe it to anyone to explain why it's interesting.
Then
if you say something like, "Oh yeah, that's interesting,"
then why do you tell us?
Because it is. Like you're saying, like,
why would we care if you thought it's interesting? If you're not going to expand upon it,
yeah. What value do we get in it?
The value you get is me telling you it's interesting. That's the value you get.
Okay, so we review movies, and if your criticism was just, I thought it was interesting, and then you say nothing else, that opinion means nothing.
Yeah. Or
what do you mean that opinion means?
It means nothing.
So take it a little step further.
Okay.
You know, if you were to say a movie's good or a movie's bad, what does that mean?
A movie is good or a movie is bad.
You know, but why? Do we not extrapolate on those?
Yes, of course we do.
Yeah. So that's the same
those
thing.
are more descriptive than just saying interesting.
Yeah, because interesting.
Because you're not saying it's neither good or bad.
All I'm saying is
I'll give you another example. Okay,
go ahead.
On my desk at work, I have a bunch of tchotchkes that I have for people to fiddle with when they're sitting at my desk, and I'm getting ready to fire them.
Oh, jeez.
and they can play around with this little color prismatic, cube that I have, or I have these, magnets and ferrofluid fluid games and stuff like that. But I also have these. It's a collection of 1 inch by 1 inch cubes. They're perfect 1 inch by 1 inch cubes, and they're made of pure elements. I have copper.
Oh yes.
Copper, aluminum, magnesium, tungsten, carbon, silicon, and aluminum. Yeah. There's a bunch of them. And they're interesting because when you pick it up, you're like, ooh, this tungsten is one of the heaviest fucking little 1 inch cubes I've ever felt. And then you pick up magnesium and you go, wow, this is way lighter than I expected for magnesium.
Okay.
And the fact that you're being able to compare the weights is interesting. The fact that you can pick up the carbon cube and draw on it like a pencil because it's carbon. Yeah. That's interesting. The fact that silicon can scratch stainless steel because it's so sharp. The hardness of it is so sharp. Those are all very interesting things about this stupid cube. And just the fact that you have a 99.9, and it's etched on the front, 99.999% pure silicon. That's interesting. But if you were to go pick one up and go, oh, that's interesting, my head would immediately go, I wonder what he finds interesting about that.
What? You don't owe anyone your opinion.
Yeah, but when you're on a show, if you're reviewing movies.
If you're a stranger at a fucking gas station, no, you don't owe it to them. But people tuning into the show or your YouTube channel or whatever, they want to know more. They don't want it to be like, oh yeah, Tyler liked that. I wonder why. Well, I guess I'll never find out.
Exactly. Who cares?
Okay.
Then why are you here?
All right, you're off the show. You're gone.
I'm not saying why are you here. I'm just kidding. But someone who just says interesting as their only feedback.
Easy. Those chairs are not super solid.
is like you get nothing from it.
Yeah.
Even if you're just talking to someone.
And again, and none of this is to take you to task because again, this is Joseph censoring himself or trying to grow himself. But it's a valid thing, and it's like the second that you think, oh yeah, I have no room to grow in my conversational skills,
in my language, my vernacular, or my
personal hygiene,
critical thinking.
All right.
I mean, if you're in like an English class and you're reading a book and then you're all talking about the book and the teacher calls on you and you're like, so what did you think about the previous chapter? I thought it was interesting. You would get an F.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
Okay, so you agree that it's a non-word.
No, I still stand by my statement. Like if you just say it's interesting and you don't want to, further
You've wasted people's time.
Wasted people's time?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Especially if they inquire about what you thought about whatever it is you're talking about.
I guess it just depends on my mood then. How about that?
Okay, that's fair.
Like if I didn't want to explain it, I would just say, yeah, that was interesting. And they'd be like,
but do you think that you would ever do that? Would you ever just say that was interesting and say nothing more?
I have done that before.
Okay, but
that's like almost like something to your think to yourself. You're like, that's interesting, or that's funny.
Yeah.
Let's move on from this. But oh, interesting. We have Joe Bridges in the chat says James Cameron is a famous plagiarist. I was being like glib or facetious.
I was being cheeky.
Yeah, but he says he was sued by Harlan Ellison for Terminator and he lost. He said in the
or is he saying lost the show?
No, he lost this lawsuit because Ellison was added to the credits for a story based on a character by Harlan Ellison after the movie already came out. You know what? Now that you say that, Joe, it does sound familiar. I didn't quite realize that was the case though. So famous plagiarist James Cameron.
That sounds interesting.
I know that is interesting. I'd actually put that in the chat.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your turn.
God, please. Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, I found a very interesting article. Let me tell you why.
No, please don't elaborate.
Oh, okay. So the long-awaited Francis Ford Coppola self-funded epic Megalopolis, starring Adam Driver and a bunch of other people.
Love that name.
Has finally premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in France, and the reviews are all over the place, much like Cannes movie premieres tend to be.
That's how it's pronounced. I thought it was Cannes.
Nope.
People used to call it the Cannes Film Festival or the Cannes Film Festival. Then it's Cannes.
Is that the Cannes or Cannes?
It changes anytime you talk to a French person.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just like to confuse us.
They like to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
All right.
Or embarrass us. And it was met with a like 7 or 10 minute standing ovation, and they do that very
stupid
awkward thing where they just have the cameras lingering on the actors and directors' faces for way too long. And some people are calling this movie better than Godfather and Apocalypse Now. Some people are calling it the worst thing that has ever graced the screen.
Wow. I heard it be compared to The Room.
Oh, really?
Yeah. $120 million version of The Room.
Yeah. And it's been the talk of that festival, and like very curious. I'm curious about this movie. I've seen the teaser. It looks like a Terry Gilliam-esque world.
Do you remember I stream picked a while ago this movie called Immortals? And it was like
Immortals.
It was like I mean, maybe I didn't stream pick it because it's not streaming anywhere. I had to buy it on
the Henry Cavill movie.
No, it's like a French Canadian weird psycho like sci-fi movie that Binge Lord Dan recommended to me. It was like the Twitter prompt and said something like, "What insane movie will you defend to the ends of the earth?" And he posted that, and I'm like, huh, if he likes it, I'll watch it. Dan, I love you. Terrible. The movie's terrible. It's so bizarre, and the CGI is so bad in it that it's appropriate for the era and a low budget movie. But they were
when did it come out?
2004, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it's a low budget movie in that era, trying to lean really heavily on CG, and it kind of feels like Megalopolis, where you're like, a lot of this is CG, and it's all over the place. Like it's visible.
Yeah. So
not that it's bad, it's just clearly CG.
So Mr. Coppola has been either like purposely evading or just is unaware, or he's lying about not seeing any of these reviews.
You say Nazi?
Huh? Not seeing.
Oh, okay.
About Nazi reviews.
Tyler's ears perked up.
Like, oh.
This just in. Let's see what the Nazis have to say about Megalopolis. Not enough white people.
That's going on the board.
So Coppola has said in an interview with The Wrap, this is where this article comes from, thewrap.com, he is unaware of any negative reaction. All I know is I came here, I showed the picture, and I'm told it went over very well, he said, and then shrugged. I don't know. Or maybe it didn't. I don't know. That's what he says. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But that's what they told me. This is a project of operatic pronouncements, didactic repetitions, and sprawling artistic ambitions. This is not Coppola saying this. Quite a few realize just as many not, that makes little compromise for more earthbound worries. It's kind of Batman, kind of Gladiator, kind of Tomorrowland, rolled up in a smorgasbord of ideas and images. The Cannes audience didn't know what to do with it. It's now in Cannes. It's looking for distribution, which I think was a big problem. Like people weren't sure if it was going to even be able to get into theaters because no one wanted to distribute it.
Right now, doesn't even.
That's not a good sign.
It doesn't have U.S. distribution.
Coppola and Adam Driver spoke to The Wrap about the long in the works project. This has been years.
I think we first talked about this in 2021.
Yeah.
The works, Long in the Works project, how the film fits into its director's storied career and the state of Hollywood and McDonald's.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, McDonald's.
From the beginning of the conversation, the 85-year-old filmmaking icon also wanted to correct a few misconceptions.
85.
There was another story about the making of this movie, is that he would walk around and kiss extras like on the cheek.
Who would?
Francis Ford Coppola.
He was giving pecks on cheeks.
He was blessing them.
Yeah.
He was like the Pope.
And he would try to get people to like sit on his lap.
What?
I mean, what 85-year-old doesn't do that?
I can't even imagine, like, okay, go ahead.
Francis Ford Coppola, someone asked him, "You've been thinking about Megalopolis for a long time." Yeah, but that I would like to correct one misunderstanding. You know, I made a lot of different movies in a lot of different styles. Godfather, then to Jack.
He's just going down his CV.
Rather than just make a lot of gangster movies, which I could have had a career doing, Apocalypse Now was one style opposite from The Godfather, which was a more classical style. And I thought someday when I'm old, I would like to make another movie, but I wonder what my style is. So I started to keep sort of a scrapbook from things I had read in newspaper clippings. I started clipping political cartoons because they tell a story in an image. The idea was that I was collecting these notebooks that one day might lead to a movie. Political cartoons that turn into a movie. I'll combine them all. That's my storyboard.
Yeah.
And eventually, after doing this for about 15 years, I started thinking what I'd really like to do is make a Roman epic and set it in modern America, since modern America was the historical counterpart of Rome. So when the people say I was working on it for 40 years, I sort of was, but it was more that I was just keeping a running scrapbook. And then him and Adam Driver in the same interview, and he turns to Adam Driver and says, "Did I ever show them to you, the scrapbooks?" Adam Driver says, "I have seen the notebooks."
Yes, pop.
Yeah. And so this movie sounds and looks wild.
I can't wait.
Shia LaBeouf is in it.
Aubrey Plaza.
Got some big names.
Dustin Hoffman.
Got the boof.
Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Hoffman is involved? Wow. All right.
Yeah. He's Interesting filmmaker. I honestly like because he hasn't done anything for a while. I honestly was just surprised that he was still alive. Because he seems like such an old, like one of those directors from that time that didn't make it. You know, physically or like life wise.
He didn't make it.
You know? I have an interesting comment from Eric in the chat. He says Coppola paid for Victor Salva's lawyer, who is Victor Salva's the guy from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, the director.
Sex offender. Mm-hmm. He paid for his lawyers, and then he threatened Salva's victim and child actor for breach of contract if he didn't come back and do ADR.
Oh.
What a creep. Ugh. How hard is it to find another child to do ADR?
You don't want to give him another child.
That's a fair point. Fair point. I have a quote that I actually read from Coppola about Megalopolis, which I thought was a really fantastic quote.
Megalopolis.
Yeah, from Megalopolis. This is the Donald Trump biopic, Megalopolis.
Wow.
He says, there's so many people that when they die, they say, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. When I die, I'm going to say, I got to do this. I got to see my daughter or my daughter Sophia win an Oscar. I got to make wine. I got to make every movie I wanted to make. I'm going to be so busy thinking about all the things I did get to do when I die that I won't even notice. I thought
that I'm dying?
Yeah, that I'm dead. I think that's a fucking great quote.
Yeah.
He needs to just like...
I saved Victor Salva's career. Save them from the hands of that child.
I think history will be on my side for that.
It's got to be as Adam Driver, like being part of this production, like going to go film this movie, and like coming home from set and like wherever he's coming home to, and it's like, so I was work today. I went to go film some scenes for Megalopolis again.
Yeah, more scenes.
Yeah. Old Francis, he's picking up Megalopolis again. And
old Francis.
I got to do that dumb haircut again.
I don't know. I
cannot wait.
I hope.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. You know what this movie is more than anything? It's interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah. All I have to say, that was all pretty interesting stuff.
Did you download that link that I sent you?
I mean, I have it. So yeah, what was this?
Can you download it? Go, do the 4K downloader on that.
I also have it queued up here.
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, you have it downloaded there? Oh, you have it queued up on the thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that works. Like the audio for this. I just download the file every time each way. But yeah, Bruce sent this in to us. He posted this on the Cinematics page while the live stream's going. And he said, this is a scene from Barbarella, which I think is appropriate.
Oh, okay.
Joseph's going to download it here real quick, and we'll put it on the commentary.
We're bantering. We're riffing.
Megalopolis. Interesting, don't you think, Tyler?
Yeah,
it is very interesting, yes.
This is our hold music. What if you called into your dentist and this was the cold music? I would have a lot more respect for him.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I think so. We have in store for us.
I can't wait to see
That's a Red Museum movie if I've ever seen one before.
That's a good call. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it streaming? Is it an unstreamable?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So anything else? Anything else? Okay. Let's move on to some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks, movies that we watched on our streaming services that we will recommend or not recommend that you watch as well. Pete.
Yes. Okay. So first off, I watched. This is not streaming anywhere for free, but I want to bring it up because it's a movie I didn't think I was going to really enjoy, but I thought it was a really fantastic take on a classic Broadway play. This is Phantom of the Opera from 2004.
Oh, yeah.
And the cast is what caught me because it's Gerard Butler, Patrick Wilson, and what is her name?
Emmy Rossum.
Emmy Rossum, yeah.
Emma Rossum or Emmy Rossum?
Emmy Rossum.
I don't know why I thought Joaquin Phoenix was involved in this project, but I thought he was.
No, definitely not.
All right.
Minnie Driver also in this, and Miranda Richardson. But this is from 2004. You can stream, rent it for like $4 pretty much everywhere. And it's the other thing that I thought was really interesting about this is it's directed by Joel Schumacher, the guy that brought us Batman and Robin. Not who I was expecting to be the director of this, but it kind of makes sense though because Batman and Robin was 97. This is 2004.
Right.
And the thing that I will applaud Batman and Robin for is the use of practical sets, because it really feels like a straight up comic book movie.
It does.
And it feels, and it's like these gigantic, like cartoonish set pieces.
And like the neon lights and stuff.
Yeah, all of that. But I mean, even the stuff that's not super colorful is still looks like it's a physical set. I mean, they're clearly on a stage and whatever, but that has a bit of a uncanny valley feel when it comes to like a movie, like a movie production type thing for a lot of people. I think that's why that bombed so bad, is because it's cheesy.
Yeah.
It's basically like a live action comic or cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's not what people were expecting after what Batman's had led up to that.
Yeah.
But when you think about it in terms of like taking a comic book and bringing it to life, I think it was successful.
Yeah.
When you take that same mentality and that same production value and bring it to a opera or stage play that is now turning into a theatrical production, it makes it feel like you're watching a better version of a stage play, like a stage play that has more reins to do bigger things with. Like the set pieces within the 2004 Phantom of the Opera, they feel like you're watching a stage play, but on a much grander scale. You're never going to be able to do the things they did. Maybe you could, but it would be an extreme case. Because there's like a boat scene and they're rowing down the boat in the basement, and then they go to the next scene and it's like his like fuck palace where the big peacock bed and all the candles everywhere.
Palace.
Yeah. And they even kept in when all the singing happens, because their majority of this movie, they talk sing. You know, there's conversations being held between people and they're singing it out. Just much like Les Mis or Into the Woods.
Okay.
In this, it really worked, and they left the echo as if they were doing the singing on a stage. So instead of having a nicely clean, tight, crisp sound like they did in Into the Woods, and I think in Les Mis, it's almost like they left it so it sounds like you're watching someone on a stage and you're in the front row seat and you can hear the echo of the auditorium.
Oh, I see.
Or the opera house or whatever. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. I think that they another small bit that made it feel like a traditional stage play was at the beginning of the movie, you see the Phantom, or I think they call him the Ghost.
Yeah,
Ghost
I think
of the
it's
opera.
called the Ghost, yeah.
And he's got his little tiny Kano mask that covers up half of his face. And you can see around it, and it's normal skin. And you're like, this guy looks like he's like, you know, I've turned the world away from me because I'm a hideous monster. And you're like, would he get like a black eye or like a port wine stain or something? I mean, how bad could it be? And then throughout the whole movie, you're looking at it and you're like, it's clearly just like hot Gerard Butler singing to this young girl who's 17, by the way, in that movie. And then his mask comes off in the third act, and you're like, half of his head is deformed. He looks like he fell into the lava pits at the end of...
burned or something?
Yeah, he looks like he fell into lava pits at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Half of his head is like deformed. There's like bald patches on his head and his hair and stuff. And you're like, that wasn't there before, but that's stage play.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we're not going to have that the whole show because all the practical whatever. They're just going to have it here. And then they put the like half mask on his face, and now he looks like a real monster, like a Quasimodo type, creature. So I liked that a lot. The singing was well done. The characters were interesting and you cared about them. And I still have not seen a movie that Patrick Wilson has been in, and I thought, man, that guy can act. I just think, yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
He fills the role.
Yeah, he fills the role.
He's in front of the camera. He's delivering his lines.
That movie specifically has, whenever Deanna watches a movie with Patrick Wilson, she hates him because he's such an asshole in Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he that? He didn't seem like that much of an asshole.
Well, that's her perception of him in that movie.
So she's more like, she's Team Phantom?
I guess so, yeah.
She likes Phantom.
Yeah, she enjoys that movie as well.
It's a good movie. Yeah. I watched it on, Brianna bought it on Blu-ray because she found out that I'd never seen it.
Oh, she found out what?
She found out.
What did she find?
She discovered my second family. And so she said, that's it. We're watching Phantom of the Opera.
How dare you? You know, this calls for Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, we're going to watch some Patrick Wilson. I think it was specifically Patrick Wilson that I was commenting on how I don't particularly care for him in anything. I don't dislike him, but he's like...
And so she was like, you know what? No,
she said he's great in Phantom.
Enough is enough.
She said he's great in Phantom. I'm like, is he great? And she goes, I mean, he's serviceable. Really, Gerard Butler. Well, really, Emmy Rossum is the star of Phantom. And footnote to that, she's a classically trained opera singer too. So all that singing from her was really from her, and it is very good. I mean, it is impressive. 17 belting out songs like that.
That's very interesting.
I know, it is interesting. What's interesting about, actually, you know what? I probably shouldn't have said anything about the fact that she was a classically trained opera singer or that she's 17. Just that her performance was interesting.
Okay.
The fact that she's in the movie is interesting. No elaboration.
The fact that there's a movie Phantom of the Opera, that's interesting enough.
Interesting.
I don't need to know more.
Yeah, please stop. Say less. But yeah, I was thinking about the career trajectory with people because she's a pretty well-known actress at this point. She was like in Shameless was kind of her big breakout thing. I can't think of any like particular stuff that
Anything else that she's been in?
Yeah, like big parts that she's been in, but I feel like she's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, no, it's God,
The Day After Tomorrow, Mystic River, Grindhouse. Ooh, Dragon Ball Evolution. Also starring the guy from Shameless, her first boyfriend in Shameless.
Yeah.
But think about from her perspective, she's known now as this person in Hollywood or whatever. If she had been 15 when this movie came out, she wouldn't have been able to been cast.
Yeah.
Like 2 years is a lot in an adolescent, for growth and development and all that stuff. If she was 30, probably wouldn't have been cast, right? But she was like the right age and prepared and had all her ducks in a row. She looked the part, she performed, she acted the part, and there she is. Now she's like this superstar. So
yeah,
I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. And
her husband is somebody, let's see here. Brianna was telling me, I can't remember who it was. No, Emmy Rossum. I know, I'm sorry.
Why are we going through her life?
Let's look at her family tree.
Yeah. Oh, the guy that made Mr. Robot, Sam Esmail.
Oh.
Also, that movie that came out last year on Netflix with Leave the World Behind.
Oh,
yeah, that one with
Ethan Hawke
and Kevin Bacon
and Mahershala Ali.
And what's her name? Sandra Bullock, Pretty Woman, Julia
Roberts.
Julia Roberts. Yeah,
Julia Roberts. Yeah.
Yes, Julia Roberts. Okay, so that's that. I watched Idiocracy again.
We reviewed that.
Yeah,
that was the first episode with the board.
It was, yeah. Because we had an IRL fart with Jay. Jay was in the room.
That's right. He would.
Jay, no, but it was real though.
Yeah.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! All right, we're off the rails. You done? You done, Joseph?
Yeah, for now.
Okay. So Idiocracy streaming on Hulu. It's been a while since the last time I watched it was when we reviewed it.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I was talking with my mom and stepdad, more or less. They're dating, they're not married, but about Idiocracy.
You're not calling him dad.
Yeah. Not even there's a fire. But I mentioned how the future was in Idiocracy and he'd never seen it before. And I just started kind of like recanting the plot of Idiocracy. And I'm like, man, I gotta watch this movie.
Hyping yourself up to watch it again.
Yeah, I was hyping myself to watch it. And I really had a tough day in many ways. And I was like, do I want to watch something challenging or do I want to watch some cheeseburger movie?
Yeah.
And I watched this thing that's not healthy for me, but it's so fucking good. It's almost a perfect movie, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Mike Judge is like a creative genius.
The world building in this movie is better than almost all dystopian movies combined.
I mean, like the pacing, the cadence of this movie, like it just everything about this movie. I can't complain really anything about watching this movie. Like it's so
interesting.
Yeah, the movie is very interesting.
It's because like if you have a dystopian future movie, almost always they lean on everybody wears leather. Their clothes are tattered.
Same.
Yeah, they're all the same. They almost all have goggles on for some reason.
Yeah.
Like gloves.
No emotions. You can't show emotion.
Oh,
yeah.
By the way, where are my fingerless gloves?
Yeah. Water is like a hard to find resource or whatever.
Right.
And
you're eating worms.
Which in this one, water is a hard to find resource, but not because of it. You can't find it. It's because they turned it off because Brando took over.
Yeah.
Because it was cutting into the shareholders' profits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mike Judge, like he knows how to create a very clever and unique story.
And then he did Extract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Joe Bridge in the chat says he's one of the few people that has like an or meh take on Idiocracy.
That's
totally fine.
Doesn't think it's very good at all.
I get that. Just the world building alone for me, and Dax Shepard is worth the price of admission.
Don't get it, man.
Yeah. It is 100% juvenile. It is poop and fart jokes.
Blaster.
Yeah, it is a lot of like just. But the Ray Bradbury predicted a lot of the future in Fahrenheit 411 or 451. Yeah,
450.
Yeah, 451.
I thought it was 450.
451.
It's 451.
It's 451.
Yeah, 451.
451.
Yeah, he predicted a lot of the future. Like, there's a scene in that book that they're watching a TV and it's the entire wall, and his wife is like getting the second wall installed of the TV, and they're in like the TV room, and it's like literally encompassing the entire wall, and it's like that's going to be our future eventually.
That'd be awesome.
TVs are getting bigger, and
I can't wait.
Screen X. Ever heard of it?
The worst way to watch a movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they also talk of their like wireless communication earbuds, you know, the entire country being able to utilize through a nationalized like broadcast system.
The internet.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that's, you know, suppression of information. That was very prescient in, you know.
No books allowed.
Yeah, in Donald Trump's America. But they predicted, Ray Bradbury predicted a lot in that book. Mike Judge predicted even more in Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Such as I watched, the whole reason why we started talking about Idiocracy at my mom's house on Mother's Day was there was a commercial came on. It was a Carl's Jr. commercial where a guy drives his car off the lift at the service station because he hears a commercial about a burger. And he goes, oh, I got to get a hamburger. He crawls into his car up on the lift, drives it off, destroys his car, drives to the Carl's Jr., smashes through the wall, endangers everyone's life inside, and grabs a burger off someone's table and starts eating it.
This is a commercial.
And then immediately, and it's so fast and frenetic. And immediately after that, like an image comes on screen. It's like all white, and a fist punches through the wall, and there's a burger on it. And it says like, Carl's Jr. in your face or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's their slogan.
And I'm like, Carl's Jr., fuck you, I'm eating. That was the actual ad in Idiocracy. Carl's Jr. didn't write that. They gave Mike Judge carte blanche to do whatever they want with the advertising, the future advertising. And they come full circle into that. The people are wearing Crocs in all over the place in Idiocracy. Mike Judge
branded.
Yeah, Mike Judge says they wanted to find a footwear that people wear that no one in the planet would be dumb enough to wear in public.
Oh my God.
And 10 years later, Crocs are fucking everywhere. Kids are in Crocs.
Yeah, Crocs are everywhere.
Adults are in Crocs.
Yeah.
This is Croc country.
Yeah. No no disrespect to anybody who owns Crocs, but if you guys ever see me in Crocs, you have my full authority to punch me in the mouth.
Okay.
You can do it because I don't ever want to get to that point. I don't want to wear socks with sandals. I don't ever want to wear socks with sandals.
Okay,
I
kind of sandals.
I mean that's very extreme. I think
any kind of sandals?
Yes. And I know you. I've seen you wear them before. I just don't. I'm pretty sure I've seen you wear them before, and I'm sure it's comfortable as fuck. I got family members that wear Crocs. I'm sure it's comfortable as fuck. I don't want that. I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to be part of nature.
Crocs don't look comfortable to me.
They don't.
They don't. They really don't.
Everybody talks about how comfortable. They feel like their foot's jangling around in there.
They look like those like old roller skates when you were kids, like the baby blue with the orange wheels, and they're like,
wow, yeah,
like very stiff.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's Idiocracy.
It's streaming on Hulu.
Right on.
Go watch that. And then let me see if this one's streaming because I watched. Oh, it is because I watched this last night. This is a movie that's streaming on FreeVee, Peacock, Plex, Pluto TV, and the Roku channel from 2022. It's actually a sequel to a movie that I haven't seen. And when I started watching the movie, I'm like, they introduce a character as if we know who they are. And I'm like, am I supposed to know? Did I miss something at this movie? And turns out it's a sequel. This movie's called The Roundup from 2022.
It's a sequel?
It's a sequel.
Oh.
And
you didn't know it was a sequel?
No, I didn't until after I watched the movie. Like halfway through, I looked it up. So this is starring Ma Dong-seok. It's a Korean action movie. And Ma Dong-seok is the guy, the big dude in Train to Busan.
Okay.
He's the big, really sympathetic sort of character that everybody seems to like in that movie. And he's just kind of a hulking beast. In this one, his nickname is the Beast Cop.
The Beast Cop.
Okay.
Imagine a Jackie Chan movie.
Okay.
And in Jackie Chan movies, they almost write the story around being able to put Jackie into scenes where he has fun, creative fights and he can show off his acrobatic skills, martial arts skills, and creativity amongst average everyday objects, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
In this movie, they do the same thing, but it's all trying to point Ma Dong-seok into situations where he fights people and uses his brute force power to destroy them. So like he punches a guy through a windshield on a bus at one point. Punches him so hard he flies through the windshield and outside. Awesome. And like there's a number of times when he one punches someone, it's like head, and they like the head bounces off the ground like a basketball, and then they're knocked out, and you're like, yeah, you don't need to go back to that guy. He's dead. So the beginning of this kind of feels like Cobra because there's a bunch of people outside a grocery store and the guy inside's got a knife and he's threatening to kill people and there's already blood all over him. We don't know whose blood it is.
Yeah.
And Ma Dong-seok shows up and he steps out and it's like the camera lingers on him. He's in this nice suit. He's a big dude. His fists are just ready to go.
Yeah.
And he like goes in through the back door just like Cobra, into the grocery store just like Cobra, and takes down the guy single-handedly just like Cobra. And then he's vilified in the paper for using excessive force because he breaks the guy's wrist. And you're like,
break the wrist, walk away.
It's just like Cobra. That's where the Cobra parallels end though, that one scene. And basically, long story short, they go to Vietnam because there was a murder of a Korean national there, or a couple of Korean nationals, and a criminal that turned himself in and wants to be extradited back to Korea. So they go to investigate why he turned himself in, and they uncover this whole big thing.
Yeah. Another
parallel to another cop movie, Beverly Hills Cop. When he's in Beverly Hills, he's not supposed to be working on a case, but he is. In this, he's not. They have no jurisdiction in Vietnam, but they're still trying to solve these murders.
Right.
It's a pretty fun movie. I mean, there's some spots in it that definitely don't have the same Hollywood appeal that you expect from like a mainstream action movie.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool movie, and the character I think is really interesting because he's so OP that and he's very like timid and calm. There's there's an interrogation scene that's really good.
Okay.
Where he's interrogating a guy and they're doing it in ways that obviously they can't do permanent damage to him.
Yeah.
So he puts his ear on the table and then punches the table right next to it, and his guy's ear is vibrating.
Oh God.
And
what kind of table is it?
It's like a wooden table like this.
Interesting.
But it's like if you were to put your ear down to a table and knock on it, it sounds very loud. So he's punching with this like gorilla fist on the table. Weird. And the guy,
gorilla fist.
Yeah, and then he threatens to rip the guy's ear off. So he like grabs it and he's lifting him up by his ear, and it's just a pretty fun movie.
Yeah.
But
sounds fun.
But it has some very intense knife fights because there's almost no guns over there. So the main villain has like this kind of mini machete.
Oh.
And he's very proficient with this knife and he's very deadly. Killed on screen counts probably like 25, 30.
God damn.
A lot of people dying by stabbing deaths and slicing and stuff.
But this is the sequel.
Is this a sequel? It's a sequel in the universe. I think it's the first of the standalone movies for this character.
What's the first movie?
Let me see. I can look it up here real quick because
this is a more recent movie.
This is in 2022. The first movie was in 2017, right after Train to Busan. And
it's a Korean movie.
Yeah, it's a Korean movie. And it takes place in Ho Chi Minh City, aka Saigon. The first one's called The Outlaws from 2017.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was more of a ensemble. It was like a number of people.
That one sounds familiar.
This one focuses specifically on the beast cop.
So it's like a spin-off.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And the interesting thing about that too is this is from 2022, the Roundup on Hulu. There is the Roundup 2.
Oh, there's another sequel
that already came up that's in 2023.
Oh.
It's called, let's see here, the Roundup 2. What's it called? There's a subtitle to it. I can't find it now. But that is in 2023. And there's a new one coming out this year, the Roundup 3. So it's the third of a spinoff.
They're making these movies quick.
They're really fast, yeah.
They probably just filmed it all at once.
So it did have a feel of a Jackie Chan movie where he's very charismatic, but in a more subdued way than Jackie is. And he uses a different set of skills in his fights, but they're still focusing on his particular set of skills.
But it's a fun...
It's fun.
Fun movie?
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Yeah, it's good. A little long, but good.
Okay.
So that's streaming on Hulu, and then I couldn't wait. I watched The Iron Claw. I'll extrapolate more.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I'll extrapolate it more on our review episode, but yeah, interesting. 4 stars.
God damn it.
Tyler, I'm done.
Okay. Tyler.
Well, I'm glad you got up with the Ironclad. Can't wait to hear you.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, what more do you need to know?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out once it lands on the wheel.
That's what I'm going to say on the review episode too, though.
Oh, okay. Well,
interesting. 4 stars.
Well, you know what? That's good enough for me.
A.
Good enough for me. So this isn't streaming anywhere, but you remember a couple of weeks ago, you guys were talking about how you never seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that motivated me to revisit this film. I rented it on Amazon Prime for $3.99 or $4.99. I don't know. I can't remember the price tag. And I hadn't seen this movie in a very long time. And I watched it one night and I was just like, oh my God, like I forgot how much I loved this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've read the book as well, which I encourage everyone to read the book because the book it's a short read, but it's a good read. Director by Terry Gilliam, starring Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro.
What's his name? What's the first name?
I'm sorry?
Well, who? It's Johnny Depp and who?
Benicio del Toro?
Benicio.
Benicio.
Okay.
There you go, bingo.
Thank you.
Put some respect on his name.
Well, I'm sorry. Benicio del Toro.
What do you want me to learn Spanish names now?
I already know. The only Spanish I know is no habla español.
Oh, there we go. What about Cerveza? You know that one?
No. So, this movie follows the story of an oddball a sports journalist and his lawyer going to Las Vegas to go on a world-class bender. And what I really like about this movie is that it encapsulates freedom. Like, like the prevailing philosophy in the plot is about what Hunter S. Thompson says is like, it's about the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
And
getting high.
The American dream. But I think like, it's not really, I don't think I know he's a patriotic person, but like, I think what he was subconsciously saying to his audience about the story was about the freedom of having free will, like just like being able to do what you want to do. And it is illustrated by Raul and what was the guy's character? I already forgot his name. Oh yeah, Dr. Gonzo. I was gonna say
Dr. Gonzo. That's a fun name.
So I thought it was just the way it was shot was very much like Natural Born Killers, which came out in like the same era. It's kind of like this very trippy sort of style of shooting. And
it's like trademark Gilliam too.
Yeah.
Same director from Brazil that we reviewed on the show.
Right. It's like, it has like awkward camera shots. And I think Johnny Depp like really went into character. Like he like actually became friends with Hunter S. Thompson.
For years, I didn't know that was him.
He lived at his property. I can't remember where his property was. But
it's like a lake house, right?
Las Vegas?
Yeah. No, it wasn't in Las Vegas. I think it was, I can't, it might have been in Nevada. I'm not sure. But he lived with him for like several months in his basement to prepare for his character. And so I really appreciated it more than I did when I was younger. When I watched it, when I was younger, like I appreciated the like the writing and like the way it was shot. But I kind of got a little bit more like philosophical with this movie in the sense that these are two adults who are essentially the same age as us, more or less. And they decided, you know what, we're going to go to Las Vegas. We're going to get all these drugs and all this booze and we're just going to live life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what Hunter
do you romanticize that idea of like just dropping everything and spending 2 weeks on a drug bender?
Yeah, of course I do. Of course I mean, like who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to just drop everything and just
take a bunch of drugs?
I have no desire to do any of that. Like the idea of leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas is a little bit different though. That one is a lot more depressing. This is a little bit more.
Yeah, but it still has like a romanticism of that. It's like the idea that you're going to die a peaceful death while you're drinking yourself to death is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
it's a miserable death.
Well, yeah, drinking yourself to death is a very miserable death. But I'm just saying, like, of course, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I would never do that.
I would hope not.
But it sounds fucking awesome.
I'm a creature.
But I idolize people who do.
I'm a creature. I'm a creature of habit. So like, I could never just drop everything and just go and like do whatever I wanted. But I like the idea of
being able to do it.
Like having that option.
It's the same idea of your free agency of human being, the reason why you're no longer vegan.
Okay.
No, it's an honest question.
Yes, it is. Like, because like for the longest time, I've always been pigeonholed into like a certain role in everyone's life. And then, recently I just was like, you know what? I'm going to be Tyler. And that's what Fear and Loathing Las Vegas kind of like invoked me, like, or I should say it inspired me to even be more myself. And
I hope that we get the most authentic Tyler, because that's the best version of you.
Oh, well, thank you.
It is. When you're pretending to be Dave Damashek, it's subpar. There's only one Dave Damashek out there, and he's in Pittsburgh, PA.
Yeah, that's right.
On the banks of the Three Rivers.
But yeah, so Fear and Loathing Las Vegas, you can rent it. It's available. And then I'm trying to think if I watched anything else.
Before you move on from that, you could track it on Letterboxd.
I know. I slacked this week on the Letterboxd.
Before we move on from
Oppenheimer really took a lot of my time.
Okay.
It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Oppenheimer is only 3 hours long. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I had.
That is interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well,
168 hours worth of time from here till then. 3 of them took it all. Joe Bridges says that Colorado was where Thompson's house was.
That's what it was. I was thinking Colorado. Yeah.
Woody Creek, Colorado, near Eric Holmes.
Yeah.
And he says that Hunter S. Thompson was insane. He made his money and then went on a 40-year bender.
That's true. That much is true. And
he's like the opposite of that billionaire who's trying to live forever. Oh, who's like trying to like drink his son's blood or something.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Drink my grandson's piss.
Yeah, that too. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I think my favorite part of the movie is the monologue where he's talking about like the American dream. He's typing on his typewriter after they like had the peak. It was like the climatic point of the movie where after they do like the adrenaline drug and then they wake up and like everything is all screwed up in the hotel room and he just goes on his typewriter and he lights up a nail and he just starts typing this passage about the American dream, and it's so beautiful. And I think Johnny Depp did a really great job. And I think is he was very passionate about that role, which makes it good. And so, yeah.
I'm going to try to watch that. I put it on my watch list.
It's great.
It's a big blind spot.
It's great.
Let's put it on the wheel. It forced us to watch it.
Well, you know what? Maybe it will happen today. Who knows?
It won't happen today.
You decide you put on the fucking Iron Claw instead.
Yeah.
A movie that we were already going to watch.
That's true. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got.
Wait, where is that streaming?
No, it's not streaming anywhere. I rented it because of the conversation we had a couple of weeks ago about it.
Okay.
It's streaming for money, which is, same
technically streaming.
You have to spend money on a subscription to be able to stream stuff on Netflix.
We're gatekeeping these movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's it?
Yep.
Yes. All right, so for me...
Joe time.
My time.
It's Joe time.
Joe time.
All right, so I watched the original 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, or I said rewatched them. I haven't seen them in a long time. The At World's End, the third of that series came out in 2007. So it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. Dang. I saw that movie at the drive-in, surprisingly.
Cool. Nice. Why is that surprising?
What car were you in?
I don't remember. I was somebody else's car. I remember.
Just kidnapped.
Yeah. We're going to the drive-in.
It's funny. In the Roundup, the movie, the Korean movie I stream picked, the guy gets kidnapped at the very beginning and they tell him, "You're kidnapped."
Oh.
At one point.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know.
Yeah, I said, well, it's good they told him.
Yeah. Just so you know, you're kidnapped.
Yeah. That's right, buddy. You got stick bugged.
God damn it.
So they made like 2 more movies after the original 3. I did not rewatch those. I have not seen them, I don't think. But the original 3, pretty good, pretty fun movies. Not great writing in terms of dialogue. One example in the first movie when Will Turner meets Jack Sparrow or encounters him for the first time in his like blacksmithing shop, and they get in that sword fight. Jack Sparrow is like, they're like sword fighting, and then they're talking, and Jack Sparrow's like, "Who makes all these?" And then Orlando Bloom or Will Turner is like, he's like, "I do, and I practice with them every day."
I like that line.
Then not just he goes, "I practice with them 3 hours every day."
Okay, yeah,
It was. It's. I know it's a Disney movie.
Yeah, it's general audience.
It's very general audience, but overall they're pretty fun. The effects of Davy Jones in the second one really, really good for its time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it was awesome
when it came out. But yeah, not great writing, but they're fun movies to watch. Third one's a little too long, gotta say.
Is the third one the one where he's running on he's got like the Aboriginal tribes chasing after him or something like that?
No.
It's the second one?
It's the beginning of one of them. I think it's the beginning of this second. No,
Yeah,
third one.
It's been a while.
Yeah, no, I think it's the third one.
The third one, it's the weirdest one out of all of them. He goes into like the Phantom Zone or the locker, the Davy Jones locker.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward is alone.
Yeah.
Alone. And there's like a bunch of Jack Sparrows that he's imagining.
Yeah.
He's developed schizophrenia.
Homer goes into third dimension.
But yeah, those are all pretty good. A fun time. And they're all like 2.5 hours. And the third one's like almost 3 hours.
What would you say your favorite Pirates movie out of those 3 are?
Probably the second one, Dead Man's Chest. That one's the introduction of Davy Jones and Stellan Skarsgård as his father, Bootstrap Bill.
Bootstraps.
And
I'm really surprised about that answer because like my favorite one is the first one. I think
and we should have the same opinion.
Well, no, I'm just saying like my favorite one. my favorite one is the first one because you could finish that movie and be satisfied with not having like sequels or anything like that. Like it was just like
it's standalone.
I guess so. It has a kind of a good ending with Barbossa and like their whole goal with like becoming mortal again and not being.
That's a great finale.
Not being cursed with being
and
zombies.
He says, "I feel."
And then he dies.
I feel dead.
But you know what's crazy is at the end of the second movie, 2006, is that when that came out. They released the third one the next year. In 2000,
they already had it in the can, basically.
Yeah, it's like as soon as they finished filming the second one, they immediately started filming the third one because the second one leaves on a big cliffhanger.
Barbossa's back, right?
A big reveal, which is that Sparrow is gone and Barbossa is back. He's back.
I don't think it's possible to overestimate the cultural impact that like Jack Sparrow made into the cultural zeitgeist. Like I feel like most people, that is Johnny Depp's most well-known role at this point.
I remember when that movie was announced, people were belly aching about it. They're like, how do you make a Pirates of the Caribbean
there were riots.
movie?
There were like in the streets, people.
The Disney adults are upset.
And it was like that scene in Hot Rod when the riot comes out of nowhere. It was really inspirational, and then people started rioting.
I remember people, like, even at my school, everyone's like, why would they make a movie off of a ride at Disneyland?
They did it with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
What?
They made a ride into a movie?
They made Indiana Jones into 3 movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
I think of the fucking monkeys riding horses.
Speaking of monkeys. Well, not yet. Speaking of monkeys, I watched Last Stop in Yuma County.
Oh, cool.
Not streaming, I don't think.
No, you gotta buy it. You gotta rent it. Rent it or buy it.
You can rent it? Okay, so you can rent it. Pretty good. Didn't like the performance of the main criminal, like the smart one.
Richard Brake, really?
Yeah, the old.
I thought he was fucking great.
I was trying a little too hard.
Come on.
Everything else was
I'm
good.
Tell him you said that.
Please bring him on.
Yeah, I follow him on Twitter.
You tried too hard to be creepy.
No, he was creepy.
No, that's
he's Richard Brake.
That's just his
Joe,
face.
He's Joe Chill. I saw someone's review of that movie on Twitter, and it said, watched Last Stop in Yuma County, really loved it. Someone needs to cast Richard Brake as a warm, loving, like, father figure. And he retweeted it and said, yes, please.
Yes, please.
Like, I'm tired of being an asshole in movies.
But yeah, pretty good, like, chamber piece type movie. Solid, like, really solid filmmaking. looks good.
Great camera work.
Yeah, it was not really a main character whatsoever. I mean, you start to follow somebody near the end, and that'd be Jim Cummings, but
it's kind of like Reservoir Dogs, where it follows a lot of people throughout a short periods of time.
But definitely worth a watch whenever you can get around to it.
Faison Love, unrecognizable. I was like, that's the guy that's the manager of the Gimbals in Elf?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's Big Worm
10
from
a.m.
Friday? Yeah.
Santa's coming to town.
Big Worm.
The Apes, we reviewed the Apes movie. It's not streaming, it's still in theaters. People are going crazy. They're going ape shit.
Yeah, that's a callback.
Is it?
Yeah, because Jack said something about the ape.
Oh, about making movie puns. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't referencing that.
Yeah. I think someone in the I think it was David Wingberg, I think, mentioned. He's like, he hates the clever pun built into the review.
Oh, it was David Gulick, I think.
I think you're right. I think he's right.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, it's not that good. It's not that good. It's worse than the 3.
I agree with that. I still think I like it better than you did, but I think that the filmmaking part of it, the technical acuity of it is good. And I like the Native American sort of subculture to the one tribe they're kind of following. But yeah, I know a lot of it was like this. I don't know.
There's no compelling character. Like there is, like with Caesar, like there's no. I feel
Caesar's a better character in this movie than anybody else, and he's not even
in the movie.
It's his legacy.
Kevin Durant plays Proximus.
Yeah, Proximus Caesar,
and they're going. They're pressed to it right now. They're just like redoing the scenes as apes.
Really?
In these interviews. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I heard that on the special features, they're going to have all of the motion capture actors in it with no CG on top of them.
Yeah, they're just going to do essentially a raw version.
Yeah.
Without
raw.
I watched Godzilla times Kong, which equals the New Empire, and it was okay. It wasn't. Did it change cinema? No, not really. I mean, you're watching it to watch the CGI monkey lizard fights, and but the characters, the human characters, not great in the storyline.
You know, like kaiju vet Dan Stevens.
No. His character was a little crazy, a little too crazy.
Yeah, he was very tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
over the top. But it's a CGI monkey fight movie.
I know. It's just not. I had a mildly good time watching
Mothra.
Mothra.
Barely knew her.
I don't think that's streaming anywhere either. Yeah, maybe you can rent it.
I don't think. I don't think it's anywhere. It's still in theaters.
Oh yeah.
I was getting ready to book a In a Violent Nature ticket, and I was like, they still got Kong X Godzilla times New Empire.
Yeah. I watched The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. The new Guy Ritchie movie.
Okay.
And Guy Ritchie has gotten to a point where I can't differentiate him from the director of Kingsman, Matthew Vaughn.
Oh, really?
Those styles now are so similar that I feel like they could just be the same person.
Well, I missed all of his Sherlock stuff. I haven't seen any of his Sherlock stuff, and that feels like the opposite of Guy Ritchie. From Snatch and Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels to like Sherlock.
Sherlock is a little closer in style to his older stuff. This one feels more like a Kingsman type story, and it's based on a true story. This is starring Henry Cavill as the leader of this a small group hired by Churchill secretly to stop a Nazi boat and really put a dent in their warfare. Essentially,
it's like Inglourious Bastards.
It kind of is. It is it's like a silly, stupid Inglourious Bastards.
It's like the Mike Myers character from that, except they're all beefcakes.
Yeah, it's almost like Expendables.
Quite.
Expendables meets Inglourious Bastards. There's a lot of violence in it. There's one character whose entire shtick is he kills everyone with knives, and he's really good with a bow and arrow.
Oh, cool. Rambo.
Yeah. And it's a true story about a secret British World War II organization, the Special Operations Executive, founded by Churchill. And they're just a ragtag group of guys who don't play by the rules. And that's what they need to... Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
But Isa Gonzalez? Isa Gonzalez, however you pronounce it. Isa. She's great. She looks great.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know who that person is.
You would recognize her face.
I've seen the name.
So that one's all right.
What do you go to a star rating?
3. Forgettable. I forgot that I watched it.
Oh, shit. A ringing endorsement.
I caught up with The Dead Don't Die.
Oh, cool.
Jim Jarmusch's zombie comedy movie. And this was not at all what I thought it was going to be going into it, based on the poster and everything. It's a slow-paced comedy, and it's a very slow paced zombie movie, and it's kind of a divisive movie. I think Jarmusch is kind of that kind of director.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is Adam Driver, Bill Murray, who play cops. And Adam Driver is a character who knows that they're in a movie. And the name of the movie is a song by Sturgill Simpson. And that song plays on the radio. And Bill Murray's like, why have I heard this song before? And Adam Driver's like, well, it's a theme song. Oh, from this movie. From that movie.
Yeah. It is. I remember liking this one a lot.
And I can see why it would disappoint some people, but I was still like expecting something else, but I was still happy with what it gave me. It's the zombies themselves when they show up, they like are uttering words that like someone is saying like coffee, and another person saying like cocktail. Like it's like something that they were like I don't know, like addicted to before they died.
It's like on their brain.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're
not just saying like brains.
No, they're just saying something that they want. And like the zombies that say coffee, they are trying to make coffee or drink coffee and still kill people at the same time.
Interesting.
So that one's fun. That one's streaming on Max. I watched Tammy and the T-Rex.
Don't you mean Tanny and the T-Rex?
Tanny and the T-Rex. A movie that's streaming on Tubi, Pluto, and Shudder. And I think also Peacock.
It belongs there.
It's Paul Walker for a little bit, and
rest in peace.
What's her name? Charlie Sheen's ex-wife, Denise Richards. And it's like Get Out with dinosaurs.
I don't even know how.
There's like this scientist who has an animatronic dinosaur who wants to bring the dinosaur to life, but he needs a brain. And Paul Walker ends up, I think he gets in a car accident. No, he gets beat up by a lion.
I was gonna say he was in a car accident.
He gets bullied and kidnapped by this guy who is upset that he's dating Denise Richards, who is this bully's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he like beats him up, takes him to this reserve or something that has a bunch of wild animals, like a lion and a cougar and a puma in the middle of the night. And he gets mauled by the lion.
Yeah.
And he goes into a coma. And he eventually wakes up, but the scientist notices that like he's still got a good brain. And he drugs him and like takes his brain and uses it to power the dinosaur. And then Paul Walker is the dinosaur for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a T-Rex.
Yeah. The name might imply.
That sounds dumb.
Yes, it is very dumb. It's very stupid. 1994, it looks like an 80s movie.
Yeah. Came out the year after Jurassic Park. CGI is almost as good.
Yeah. It's all practical effects. Yeah, it's a really weird and dumb movie. And it's in a video game. The first time I saw it was in a video game in Justin Roiland's video game that he made.
Yeah.
And there's like a character who's watching this movie. Mm-hmm. And the movie plays, like the whole intro, like you can sit there and watch the movie.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard about that. Yeah.
Called High on Life?
High on Life. Yeah, that's what it's called. Okay, so yeah, don't watch that.
It's Sean Whalen is very recognizable in this one. Most recognizable gum line in the business.
Yeah.
He's that goofy guy.
The skinny guy.
Yeah, with the tiny glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Megan.
Oh.
Mithrigan.
Streaming on Peacock.
I think so.
There's an unrated and rated version, I guess.
I watched the unrated version.
They're the same movie. I think it's just more violent.
More blood, yeah.
Yeah. Which is like it's like Child's Play meets AI, the Haley Joel Osment movie. Because the main character she actually is from Get Out. She's the Daniel Kaluuya's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She's the main character, and she's a tech. She's a scientist or an engineer, and she's engineering this like almost like a nanny doll type thing.
Yeah.
that is AI powered and can adapt and learn things, which is where we're headed in real life, apparently.
Yeah.
And she designs this doll to take care of her niece, whose parents both get killed in a car accident, and now she is her guardian, and to try to help this young child with her trauma and PTSD and sadness from
the grieving process,
losing of her parents. She is not a parent or anything. The aunt,
she's not a
she's not a good caregiver for children.
No.
Not what
she's a game designer, a toy designer.
She's like a
programmer or
she's
something.
An engineer, programmer, developer, science brain. Her whole house is like automated. She's got like her own version of an Alexa that she made.
Cool.
In her house. It is cool, but she lives alone and she's she's not a person to give.
She's like Dev Patel's character in Chappie.
Yeah. And as you would guess, a design of this doll would eventually
turn evil,
be the demise of itself and everybody else around it.
I was kind of hoping the whole movie would go and the doll would not turn evil.
Yeah,
it's all the
it's
trailers.
A wholesome story.
Yeah,
it's got an interesting cast. It's got Ronnie Chang, I think that's his name.
Yeah,
he plays like the CEO, and he's like a comedian from Daily Show. But he plays like this. He kind of plays a comedic character because he's like
it's like a shithead boss.
Yeah, exactly. But the movie it's entertaining enough. Like it was all right. It wasn't life changing or anything like that, but fun time.
One of her coworkers, Cole, the guy kind of with the glasses. That's Brian Jordan Alvarez.
Yes,
the guy from Sitting.
Sitting,
yeah,
the sitting guy.
Sitting is the opposite of standing.
It was weird to see him in a movie.
Yeah, he's got a show coming out.
And then I rewatched Step Brothers.
For
the first time in a long time.
Nice,
and it's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
It is
movie.
funny.
I didn't realize that it was directed by Adam McKay, and this stars a bunch of people from Parks and Rec. Adam Scott and Catherine Hahn, who are, I feel like I want to say that they're a couple in real life, but I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, pretty funny.
I think Adam McKay was probably the funniest person in this movie.
Adam Scott.
Oh, I'd say you're right. Adam Scott.
He does do a good job of being playing that asshole, like douchebag brother.
You want to punch me, don't you?
You both want to punch me.
You both want to punch me.
There is like some very like kind of
I haven't had a carb in 3 years.
Un-PC language in this, but there's this one scene near the end where like they do that whole thing on the Catalina Island. They do the song.
Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
And they're about to hug. And then, but before that, they're like, what should we do?
Oh, yeah.
Should we hug? And then Adam Scott's reaction to that is so funny.
Yeah.
And then the awkward hug, because they've never done it before.
I know, they're trying to like fight each other and hug at the same time.
They're like just going into their instincts and like trying to gut punch each other as they're hugging.
I hated this movie the first time I watched it.
You did?
I found it so draining and like nails on a chalkboard. And then the second time I watched it, I'm like, okay, this is awesome.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
I mean, like, what I think about this movie is that it's like Adam Sandler movies where you can tell the actors were having such a great time filming it. If you watch, you should see the bloopers the bloopers for Step Brothers. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the dad, Richard Jenkins, his reactions to his son.
Dale, no power tools.
Yeah, no power tools. And the fact that they're playing toddlers, basically.
Yeah.
They're playing like 40-year-old, 10-year-olds. It's great.
My favorite scene in that movie is where he's talking to, when John C. Reilly's character is talking to Richard Jenkins. He's like, what if she wants the young calf?
She got the pull. Yeah, she wants the young calf.
We're men. We make our own hot sauce.
We go shit with the door open.
We go whitewater rafting. It's like, we've literally never done any of those things.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. Like, I don't remember the last time I watched it.
Yeah. Nice, good. Where's that streaming?
Apparently YouTube, but that's not where I watched it. I think it's on Peacock as well.
Yeah.
I should really write this stuff down.
It is streaming on Peacock. Yes.
That's what I said.
Peacock Fubo USA.
Yeah. Oh, and then the long fart in the job interview. I'm wearing tuxes.
Did you just fart?
Is your name Pam? Pan?
No, I didn't fart.
P-A-N-M? Pan? Pand? Like
Panda?
Pand?
I'm hearing a D. But yeah, that's all I watched.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties. That's over on Patreon. Patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. And that's Heather Sachs, Javier, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, hit up the website. $5 gets you on the wheel. I wanted to talk with you guys now that we're both here about maybe restructuring how we spin the wheel so we can get more Patreon picks out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good. Because we had some in there that have been in there for a while.
Yeah.
But either way, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email. We'll read it on the show, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class, and leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
Thank you to Joe Bridges, Eric Holmes, and Bruce Perky, who have been in the chat. Also, Jack Fitzpatrick, who just joined us. If you want to get on the live stream, 12:30 every Saturday, Pacific time. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
We're doing this. Okay.